Hey guys, what's up? It's Sam here from Reviews Boss, back with another review. And it's going to be another short one today. The product I'm talking about doesn't need too much of an in-depth review, but it is worth mentioning, so that's why I'm bringing it up. So the product I'm looking at is called Toggl, Toggl. So that is toggl.com, and you can click the link here to go straight to Toggl. So what is Toggl? Toggl is a time tracking software, a time tracker for anyone who needs to sort of have a list of tasks or projects and then track the time they've spent working against those projects. So if you're a consultant or a freelancer and you work by the hour, you might be a developer or something like that, or a graphic designer or an SEO business or anything where you track by the hour. Well, Toggle's pretty much made for you. So it's designed to help make tracking hours, tracking time spent on projects and tasks easier. Um, and of course, you can use it in internal teams as well. If you might run a business that's got, 10 staff and you want to see what they're up to in the day, um, or you can, tell them to track their time on Toggl so you can look for efficiencies and things like that. Of course, that opens up another whole kettle of fish as to whether getting staff, internal staff, to track their time if they're not doing billable hours for clients is a good thing. I don't think it is. I found jobs where you have to do that are pretty miserable, and often the staff are pretty unmotivated. Generally, my take is that basically you should only be tracking time if there are actual billable hours involved. Obviously, if you can't say to the client, I spent 10 hours on this project when you only spent 5. That's why you need good time tracking. But if your team are just doing things that are in-house projects, well, focus on the output, not the time. But anyway, let's continue on with the review of Toggl. So, like I said, it's going to be a short one. I'll focus on the things I like about Toggl and the things I don't. And to start off with the things I like about Toggl, well, the first one is the free version, the free sort of pricing level, I guess you'd call it, is very, very good. It really is. It really is different. Decent, sorry. It's all I use. Basically, yeah. I mean, I use the free version of Toggl every single day to track work I do for clients, for consulting I do. It's important to know that the way I work, I don't actually charge by the hour anymore. I charge fixed price for projects, or retainers, or things like that, rather than giving an hourly price. But what I want to do is have insights into how long on average a project is taking me and whether any clients or projects are taking up more time than they really should be. So, you might have the if you've done any freelancing or consulting or anything like that, or worked in an agency, you'll know that some clients, often the ones who are doing smaller jobs, the lower value jobs, they take up loads of your time. And then it's the higher value clients who are actually much more efficient to work with. So yeah, for just basic use, for yourself, the free version of Toggl is very good. However, if you have a team or you do a lot of hourly based billing, and you're not just tracking time to get a sense of how you're using that time internally, to sort of work out an average hourly rate you do make on pay by the project work or anything like that, well then look at the more premium plans, because there are a lot of additional features. I won't go into them all, but there's some really cool stuff as you move up through the feature list, and obviously through the free to starter to premium to enterprise plan. I mean, the enterprise plan literally could do it all. Um, Probably if you're doing lots of hourly billing for clients, starters where you want to be, free would be a little bit too limited. I'm going to upgrade to starter soon. Premium looks really good as well. So anyway, first thing, yeah, that I like is just how many different options there are in terms of packages, depending on your requirements, from the very usable free one right up to enterprise. So that's great to see. The second thing I like about Toggl is that it's very easy to use. It's just so straightforward to work out what you need to do. Um, and it's straightforward, but also not restrictive in terms of the way you're able to work with it. So I basically have my account set up with different clients, and then under those different clients, different projects. So, one client, it might be that the project is developing a digital strategy. So I would set that as one project and I would track time against that. And then as I uh, clock on and clock off on that project against that client, I can add commentary about what I've been doing. So I can say, okay, yesterday I spent an hour and a half researching competitors of their brand or something like that. So, yeah, really easy to work with. There's great training provided as well, which is another big plus with Toggl. So, you have no worries at all about finding it difficult to use. It's so efficient. If I think back on some time tracking software I've used in the past. Things like clocking it, for example, um, were a lot less elegant and efficient to use. It just felt a bit clunky, although this is going back quite a few years. I remember using one in a company I worked for. I think it was called Copper or something like that, or it might have been a slightly modified version of Copper. Or whatever the base software was called, we just called it Copper. But oh my goodness, that was horrible to work with. It was just absolutely terrible. You could only add time in increments of quarter of an hour. You had no easy sort of hour counter. You just had to click start, and then when you click stop, you could see how long you'd worked. You couldn't see the time adding up like you can with Toggl. So look, it's such an easy platform to work with. Really, I don't need to go into too much more detail about the benefits of it. I think that basically it's very affordable. Free is obviously extremely affordable, and then the actual paid plans are very reasonably priced for what you get as well. The starter package is only $9 per user per month. Well, if you're an independent contractor, it's $9 a month for a really powerful platform, or only $18 a month per user for premium. It does jump up to $49 per month for enterprise, but to be honest, unless you're running a large team, especially a team that's doing billable hours, and you need to be able to do things like lock their time entries so they're being honest about the time they've spent on their billable hour tasks. Well, you're probably going to stick to free starter or premium, and you'll do very nicely with those indeed for a good price. So look, from the positive side of things, Toggl's great value for money. It's very easy to use. It's just so nice to use as well. It just feels right. It doesn't feel like a sort of program that's trying to interrogate you and shake you down for where did every second of the day goes. It's just trying to help you get your work done in a more efficient manner, and that's great. So moving on to the negatives, things I don't like about Toggl. Um, well, to be honest, there aren't that many really. When I first started using it, I must admit I didn't really read the instructions properly, and I used it incorrectly. And this sort of resulted in uh, time reports that were fairly meaningless. But if you do take the time to actually look at the training, you'll see how easy it is to use. Um, I mean, nothing's perfect, but with this particular software, I am finding it really hard to put my finger on specific things I don't like. I think the interface is very clean. Um, I have noticed sometimes that it will be a bit laggy with like picking different client projects and or clients and picking different projects. I wish that there was a faster way, or maybe there is. I haven't discovered it yet, of copying projects from one client to another. So if you provide a SEO service to 10 different clients, and you just create the different client names and you copy the same projects that would sit under it, like link building or Google Analytics research or outreach, and you can copy them all under the same client. On the free plan, there are a few things missing that you'll probably notice fairly quickly if you do really need to be doing time tracking in your business. Just things like downloadable reports make it a bit harder to work with on the free platform. As I said, I just use it for internal reference purposes, basically saying, okay, how many hours did I spend on this project versus what I billed? What was my average internal hourly rate? And I've got a rate I try to work to, even though I don't quote on that directly. But look, overall, I think Toggl is absolutely fantastic. I mean, you might find some gripes with it, but in terms of what I do, and how I like to work, I really do find it very good. Um, I mean, I've never been a huge fan of time tracking. I think it's only really useful to do it very, I guess, fastidiously if you're doing genuine billable hours, in which case, yeah, you do really need to be on the ball because firstly, you don't want to wind up ripping your client off. That's not the right thing to do to say, oh, yeah, I did 10 hours work when you only did 8. And secondly, you also need to be aware, and if you've got a team working for you, they also need to be aware that it eats into your profitability if you're not tracking your time effectively when you're supposed to be doing billable hours and you think that client A is paying you for 20 hours a month, but actually there's 25, 30, 40 hours worth of work going into that client, well, you're just taking a 50% pay cut overnight or whatever the percentage may be. And I've worked in quite a few agencies and doing my own work as a consultant now, and I'm all too aware of the fact that it's very easy for time to blow out when working on clients. And you've either then got to go to them and have that awkward conversation of, oh, I've just blown out on a task and I'm going to have to send you a bigger invoice than you expected, or you've got to wear those costs and that's not good for your business either. So yeah, look, Toggl is a very good platform for time tracking. It's fast, it's efficient, it's easy to use, it's well priced, the features are there, the support seems very good. I've even received, they're obviously automated emails, but they're pretty nicely personalized, promoting training for the product and can we help you get more out of it. When I compare it to some of the other time trackers I've used, it really is very good. I just can't see any reason not to recommend it, to be honest. It's one of those apps that comes along every so often that you think, okay, this really works, it's very effective. And speaking of apps, you can get it for Android, iPhone, you can get it for your desktop, you can get it for Chrome browser, or you can just access through a web interface. So yeah, Toggl, if you need to track time, it's well worth checking out. I really like it. I think it's well priced. I think it's easy to use. I think it's effective. And I can't really say too much bad about it. Really, anything bad is probably going to be more around the interface or if you have very specific requirements about how you need to track time. But overall, yeah, go give toggl.com a look, see what you think, give it a try, and let me know your thoughts in the comments below.